American Me is considered one of the best gangster films to ever hit the big screen. But it came with a cost. People getting killed due to the movie's existence. The Mexican Mafia was enraged about the movie. And there was a hit on the director, Edward James Olmos.
The person in charge of that movie made a lot of mistakes.
American Me?
Yeah.
Edward James Olmos?
Yeah. A lot of mistakes.
Do you know him?
He'll admit it.
What, do you know him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I saved his life, really. And he won't admit that either. So.
Okay.
So you've got to be, the power of cinema, you got to be really careful.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And I don't mean, am I offending somebody? No, you just got to be real careful about telling the truth.
The Mexican Mafia, also known as La MA or La M, is one of the biggest criminal organizations in the United States. It was formed in 1957 by different Los Angeles neighborhoods who were incarcerated at the Dual Vocational Institution, California Youth Authority facility, which is now an adult state prison in Tracy, California. The founding members formed a criminal organization to protect Hispanic inmates from other prison gangs. One of the founders of La M is Luis Flores, an active member of the very Hawaiian Gardens gang, which is a city in California called Hawaiian Gardens. Gang warfare between Hispanic neighborhoods was a norm during the 1950s and 60s. So the fact that Luis Flores was able to get established enemies to set aside their differences upon entering the prison systems by uniting all together and made them stronger due to increased violence in the prison system. They tried to separate the members by moving some of them to different prisons, but it just made them even bigger. Most other gangs and prison systems feared them, and they expanded their empire by selling drugs, extortion, and gambling. Rodolfo Alvarado Cyan Cadena was one of the most influential members, born April 15, 1943, in San Antonio, Texas. Unlike the movie, he wasn't born in California. Eventually, his family wound up moving to Bakersfield, California. He attended East Bakersfield High School. While attending school, he joined a Mexican gang called the Vijo Gang, now known as the Vario Bakers. In 1959, Rodolfo Cadena and Richard Ruiz killed a man out of a dance hall called Saloon Juarez by stabbing him to death. Rodolfo was sentenced at the age of 16 to a vocational institution. While there, he was making a name for himself. One story in particular, he was in the prison yard, and a 300-pound black man who thought Rodolfo was weak because of his scrawny gave him a kiss. This was a sign of disrespect and saying he was weak. He was going to have his way with him. Rodolfo was furious and stabbed the man and killed him while 1,000 inmates watched. The Mexican Mafia wanted to recruit him. Then he met another infamous figure from the Mexican Mafia, Joe Pegleg Morgan. They became best friends and were part of the Mexican Mafia. What is crazy is Joe Pegleg Morgan is not even Mexican. His creation, but was well respected and the mastermind who ensured the Mexican Mafia was a dominating force in the prison system. With these two joined forces, they become almost unstoppable. Rodolfo was the mastermind of getting people out of the prison system involved in the Mexican Mafia activities by talking to rival gangs outside of the prisons, and also get into political alliances with the Brown Berets, fought for the rights of Hispanics, that getting unfair treatment from police and racism from white people. But what alliance cost his life? He tried to connect with La MA to Nuestra family, which was a rival gang, and that was frowned upon by other Mexican Mafia members, especially Joe Morgan and other senior MA leaders. Ordered the murder of two Nuestra leaders just prior to an important peace conference between Cadena and death row inmate Joe Gonzalez. Nuestra Familia leader undermined Cadena's peace mission and effectively green-lighted him. On December 17, 1972, he was assassinated by Nuestra's assassin who shanked him to death. This led to a kill-on-sight order for Nuestra from the Mexican Mafia. American Me was directed by Edward James Olmos, who made a name in Hollywood. His first major role was in the TV show Miami Vice.
The heat.
Turn that up.
The danger.
You're busted, pal.
The excitement.
It's beautiful.
Miami Vice. On
He
you.
played Lieutenant Costello, which at the time was one of the hottest shows in television, which he won a Golden Globe and an Emmy for his role. And he starred in a movie, which is a classic film to this day, called Stand and Deliver.
As you're waking up, wake up this morning, how are you? Bring toothpicks and pinch open your eyes.
Can we talk about sex?
We discuss sex, I have to give sexual homework.
I wouldn't do that if I was you. I'd lose a finger, I won't be able to count to 10.
At a tough school, someone had to take a stand, and someone did. Now the critics stand up and cheer for Stand and Deliver.
Because of this film, James Olmos became the first American-born Hispanic to be nominated for an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. But James Olmos had a passion project. He wanted to be a director for a movie he was creating called American Me. And he wanted to create something that was close to him. Since he grew up in East Los Angeles, he wanted to make a movie to show that joining a gang leads to death or jail. He based the movie off the Mexican Mafia. Before it was released, the Mexican Mafia was excited that there was a movie based off their organization. James Olmos wanted to keep the movie authentic. He shot at Boyle Heights, East Los Angeles. It was very dangerous to shoot there because there were rival gangs still at war.
And now we've all made movies. The only difference between this movie and other movies is that we're stuck in between a war zone. We're right in the cusp of like 3 different groups of kids.
No way we could film in these neighborhoods without the cooperation of rival gangs. After weeks of negotiation, they agreed to a truce, and many became actors in the movie.
Acting like you don't.
He even took it a step further by shooting in a real prison, or multiple real prisons, such as Folsom, and actually had prisoners as extras. The movie was released on March 13th, 1992.
Changed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
James Olmos, inspired by a true story. American Me.
With critical acclaim, but didn't make expectation at the box office. But what made it worse is the Mexican Mafia was pissed at the movie due to a scene where the head person, Santana, who's based off Rodolfo, was assaulted sexually, which never happened in real life. This led to retaliation. And another thing that pissed off the members in the Mexican Mafia is that James Olmos didn't even reach out to La M to get permission.
Okay, so from what I understand, that story was based on the head of the Mexican Mafia, right? And from what I heard, the big problem in that movie was that he showed that guy getting raped.
That was one of them.
In juvenile hall, and that's considered the biggest no-no.
Right. And then he lied about getting permission to do it.
Aha.
He said he went up to talk to Joe Morgan, and
Joe Morgan is the guy?
Yeah, Joe Morgan told me, no, he didn't. He told me on the phone, no, he didn't.
So you know the head of the Mexican Mafia?
I knew him, he passed away.
The Mexican Mafia retaliated and went to war with some of the people who helped with the movie. One in particular was Ana Lizarraga, a community youth counselor who used to be part of the MA, the Mexican Mafia, to help people turn their life around and to prevent the youth from joining a gang. She was also an official consultant to the director. She was shot in her driveway in front of her son and her boyfriend, Manuel Luna.
Lizarraga was packing for her mother's funeral in Utah. 2 masked men rushed to the driveway and opened fire. Police say she was executed. Police aren't sure why she became a target. They're looking at her work as a gang counselor. The one-time gang member was trying to get kids out of gangs.
She would help us if, we were her own kids. She would bend her back for us and try to help us, try to make us stay clean.
Another victim, Charles Enriquez, who was also a consultant, was a part of the Mexican Mafia as well, and was gunned down at Remote Gardens March 25th, 1992. James Olmos had to carry a gun for his safety. He was getting death threats due to the movie. He was even extorted from the Mexican mafia. Allegedly, he paid a certain amount that is unconfirmed, but the death threat stopped. Allegedly, there were 10 murders that happened due to the movie, but even though the Mexican mafia looked down upon this movie, it made an impact in Hollywood. According to the Hughes brothers, who made Menace to Society, another classic movie, American Me was the blueprint.
Just give Edward James Olmos his props, his flowers right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the greatest gangster films of all time.
100%.
I think way better than Menace, way better than Boys in the Hood. And I'll keep going. People will insult me. I don't give a fuck. I think American Me is over all those hood films in the 90s.
And James Olmos kept working on films and receiving critical acclaim. But I want to let you know, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. And I want you to really like and subscribe. I definitely do appreciate y'all tuning in. And, you know, when it comes to making these videos, it can be a lot of work. And if you can basically donate, super thanks. You know, give a care if it's $1 or whatever. Even if you don't donate, I still appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, thank y'all again. Thank y'all for getting us to 1,000. We appreciate you.